Alright everyone, welcome to round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Championship. It's gotten a little bit cloudy, but no rain about, which is probably a good thing. We're not having rain this time around, but it should be in for some good hard racing here for the TS2 boys. We have had 10 rounds completed onto the 11th leg, over to Japan for the Japanese leg. We start here in Japan, we head over to Suzuka for the TS2 and main series, and then we finish up at Tokyo when we head over, and after that we do head over to France for the same for 1500. So pretty interesting calendar to finish off, but yeah, TS3 have been completed. We had Jeff Brun take the clean sweep in TS3, and now we have the TS2 big boys on track now. So TS2 has been a little bit spicy the last couple of rounds. We've seen a couple of different winners, and then yeah, it's been interesting. When the drop rounds come into play, I think it's going to be very close between the boys at the top. But here we have, ladies and gentlemen, we had Nick Patasso and myself for TS3. We do actually have a guest commentator in Chris Lashbrook this time. He has fixed his issues with his audio and stuff like that. Had a bit of dinner, and he's on board for us for TS2 here. Two races, 13 laps each, 10-minute qualifying for race 1 to set the lane. Yeah, it's going to be a bit spicy there. Welcome Nick, and welcome Chris, my friends.
Yeah, thanks for having us again here, Ryan. Good for me to stay back in the commentary box. Actually,
Yeah, by Chris today.
can I get back into the commentary booth, please? This is like, yeah, sure, why not? Fuji. I've got no food for this afternoon's coverage of TS2 touring cars, but good for you to snack away, Chris, and welcome to the commentary box here at Trackstars.
Thank you, gentlemen. The dynamic duo, Nick and Ryan, are joined by myself here. Hopefully I'm not third wheeling too much, guys, but no, it's good to jump aboard with you lads here for this race here at Fuji, getting to the back end towards the current season. So there's a lot to play out here, especially as Ryan mentioned. The drop rounds is going to really open this championship. Top runs like Green at the moment he has missed around, so one of his points will be 0 that he will drop, and despite that, you know, once it all comes into play, we're going to have 3, 4, maybe even more drivers in contention towards the end of the season. So even though the drop rounds haven't been implemented yet, but the results still are very critical towards the back end of the season here. So we have LJ currently running in third at the moment, leading the championship reasonably comfortable as well. He's got about nearly 100-point lead over Scotty Taylor, who's currently in second, followed by Green and Crestdale, who make up the top 4 currently in the championship. So I don't know where your predictions lay at the moment, guys, but once these drop rounds come into play, it's nearly anyone's game in that top field.
TS2 has been a very spicy championship throughout the whole season, from round 1 all the way through to currently, well, this round now as they approach the end of their first flying laps here. So we've seen a few contenders that have taken victory. We've seen drivers step on the podium. We've seen brand new drivers getting their eligibility in the main series, the Trackstars Touring Cars main series. We've seen some drivers compete in the Trackstars Enduros at Kyoto 500 and the Bathurst 1000. Potentially we could be seeing some new driver lineups for the 1500 later on, but it just shows the caliber of drivers that we have here in Trackstars TS2 is second to none. And the way that these guys are getting these cars, extracting the maximum out of their Nissan GTRs, Lexus RCS, and the Honda NSX around here is incredible. And throughout the whole calendar season, I'm really excited to see how it all plays out at the end of this championship season. So currently, we have a top 3 occupied by the 3 manufacturers, led in the Nissan GTR by Green from CP Motorsports. Then we have Sam with, as mentioned by Chris, the championship leader for FR Racing, the Honda NSX. One of the favoured cars around Fuji International Speedway, so he'll be looking to try and claw some time back on green. And then we have Pat Trappett, who made his return to the main series last time out in the Trackstars Touring Cars Grand Valley 300, is now just gone back down to TS2 just to have a bit of fun with his friends in Curry and Green and Sandwith, and so he's going to be having himself a good time out for this Mount Fuji sprint. So yeah, as Ryan and I have seen it plenty of times, this is a great championship season that we love calling, and like Chris said, Ryan, it's going to be anyone's game come the end of the season.
Yeah, you know, I've been obviously doing the points for the series, and yeah, I've been doing a couple of calculations, and put it this way, the championship is not over, and I'm not predicting it to be over until the end of round 13, but I'm predicting a lot of changes in the championship. But yeah, Sandwich has definitely got to keep that consistency up there if he has any chance of taking that championship. So sitting up here in P3 at the moment in front of Curry, Reese, in Burke, Hall, Aussie, and in Cresto, who's currently down here in P11. So, you know, he needs to really stay in front of those championship contenders here. But at the moment, having Green here in first when he's in third, probably not what he wants, because Green is on the hunt. You know, he is dealing with a 93-point drop and a 0-point drop with Sandwich has 2 points worth of drop rounds. So, you know, it could spice up the championship quite a lot. But yeah, you know, even then, you know, the other drivers we've had come through, you know, we've had Paul's come through. We had it obviously in addition to Churchill as well. Then we had Norky as well join us in there, plus obviously yourself, Nick. We did have Hosking have a very solid first couple of rounds there with a good battle with Aidan Moulton, who we're actually missing this week. He's also been very solid there too. So yeah, as you said, you know, Sandwich is running an It's Racing Honda from last year, so we did give it to FR, and looks like they've got him well and truly up there for this year. So you know, I'm excited to see what he's got in the bag for Fuji, because the Honda is pretty good there through the midsection. He's very strong through the midsection. So you know, if he can get it really, you know, on song as they say, I reckon he can extract quite a lot of speed there. But you know, are we going to see someone stop Greeny? You know, Green, he's been very, very strong this year at the moment. But Pat coming through in P2 there with the MSR OnlyFans SCT Logistics sponsored Lexus. I don't know if he's running under Match Squads, but no, he's running under private team. That's right. So yeah, it's, you know, anyone's game. You know, Pat's coming off a P2 from Green Valley, so you know, he's obviously Formula Truck Stars champion for 2023. So yeah, and it can really be anyone's game.
Yeah, I think Lamb here, running third at the moment. He's been a little bit MIA as of lately. Missed a round at, might have been Laguna Seca or the one after, and it had a disconnect as well. And despite his absence and, you know, a bit of a drop off from the championship, previous round in here again, running in the top 3 out of nowhere. So we can't forget about Lamb in terms of outright results here at the moment, as I did touch on before. Has missed a few races due to being unavailable, but here he is running in the top 3 and comfortably as well, ahead of championship leader at the moment, Sandwith, and running with Trappert and Green, who are absolutely main series talent-worthy drivers. So it's really good to see Lamb back up the front here, mixing with the front-running guys as the solid privateer as we know him to be. And talking about triumphant return, Pat Trappert, after some time away, dropping from the main series in MSR, running back into P2 as if he didn't even leave the series. So his latent ability is coming through here and running in the top 2, as we would probably suggest. And Curry, pretty surprising. It's awkward to say that Curry running 5th is not where we would expect him to be at the moment. So we know maybe Fuji might be a bit of a dummy track for him. So I think he's got the potential to really mix himself in the championship here. So running 5th at the moment in qualifying, so I wouldn't count him out for an outright result. He's really smart with his racecraft and being patient as well. So we have a lot of good talent in this race here, guys. So I'm pretty keen to know from Ryan and yourself as well, Nick, who your favourites are to take the win this evening.
It's going to be a bit of an interesting one, because we need to obviously wait for the conclusion of qualifying. But obviously, we know the talents of Trappett. We did see it last time out in Grand Valley 300, where he took a miraculous P2 at the end of the 300-kilometre race, at the fictional Grand Valley. We know he's a 2023 Formula Track Stars champion. We know he's very handy in the Lexus RCF in the touring cars, as he demonstrated last year in 2022. He's got a lot of confidence behind him. He's got the talent, he's got the confidence behind him that can really back himself and really challenge it. He's nowhere near any contention of any championship whatsoever. So he's here just to have a bit of fun, just show up to some of the boys and say, you know, I'm here to play. Even though it's a bit of a fun round for me, I still want to give it my 110%, and I want to challenge drivers that he could potentially see in 2024 as main series drivers, as we have Green here going second fastest in Sector 2 with only over a tenth clear of his personal time with a 1 minute 31.6. But then we have Pat Trappett, who's also gone purple, but only by a little bit. So the upper hand goes to Green so far. We'll keep an eye on his lap times. We did see HBR and Lamb have a bit of an off moment there, so he's not going to be showing any representative lap time. But Green is coming onto the final corner. Down pit straight he goes, runs it a bit wide onto the AstroTurf there. Might compromise his exit a little bit, but just plucking through the gears, just revving the engine out. Plucking through the fifth gear. As you approach the start-finish line, you should be well over 260 Ks. He sets his fastest lap time with a 1 minute 31.4. Didn't lose much time at all on the final sector, but he's 3/10 clear of Pat Trappett, unless Pat Trappett can say otherwise. He comes to the start-finish line. No improvement at all there, so he stays P2. Lamb not able to improve his lap time. What about Les Sandwith? Can he improve? No, stays 4th. Burke holds on to 5th. Then we have Hall in 6th, and Curry. Obviously, we saw them having an incident. Well down in 7th place, so not where we usually see him. So he's going to be looking to charge up through the field as quickly as he can, as we see Purton come up through to P9. And then we have Thornley, the debuting Jack Thornley, in what is the acquired WRT Motorsports Honda NSX that MSR have been able to purchase of David Williams, the owner of WT Motorsport, just for this one-off event for Thornley, and it's providing him wonders, getting himself inside the top 8 on his debut round, fellas. So that's quite an impressive feat amongst this 15 drivers, which is a very highly stacked competitive field.
Yeah, that was a good showing there by Thornley. You know, we've seen him in TS3, and he's jumped up here into TS2, and he's 1 second off Green. You know, I didn't expect that from him, so I think you know, you boys at MSR have been giving him some pointers there, but yeah, as you said, you rounded out the top 8. We have Ben Purden there in P9 for I can't remember TV runs for, that's right. PH Esports, that's the one, apologies. Then we have Aussie Taylor down here in P10 for WTC Racing. And then we have Crestdale, P11, not where they want to be there, but for the moment, Sandwich, that's where he wants them to be. That's the thing there. Yep. As long as Sandwich can see them way down, or not even see them on the tower there of who's running and who's not, that's all he needs. But then we have Van Ruin down here in P12, Breeder, P13, as we call the Flying Dutchman of TS2, and then the other two rounding out the top 15 is Kentwell in flyboarding, and then we have Doc down there in P15 for WRT. So yeah, wow, that's a very exciting qualifying there. Green coming through with a 31.4, Trappett 4/10 behind, and then you got Lamb rounding out the top 3. Lamb is very, very impressive this year. He's been very strong in that red Lexus. The last 2 years, he's done very well for himself. I'm very impressed with him, and it's very unfortunate that he hasn't signed for a team, but that's obviously personal choice. So, you know, will he be signed for a team next year? That's the question. But yeah, wow, what an exciting qualifying there. Sandwich did get pipped by Lamb at the end there. So, yeah, Lexus 2 and 3, GDR P1, and Honda P4. So, you know, pretty even between them, and just, you know, what do we got the next 13 laps? What have we got the 13 laps? What are they going to bring?
Yeah, well, we'll find out very shortly. Green on pole, Trappett in second. That's a juicy front row that we love to see. 2 extremely talented drivers, one a champion, one potentially could be crowned champion at the end of this TS2 Touring Cars Championship, as we wait for those 5 lights to go. So we've got 3 manufacturers inside the top 4 with HBR in 3rd and Sandwith in 4th. As we wait for those lights to go out, it is a Nissan versus Lexus front row, as those lights are off, and we are green flag racing. A solid jump there by Green as his second phase is much better than Pat Trappett's in second. Lamb has got tucked underneath that slipstream of Trappett's as we wait for these cars to come through. Some drivers going very ambitious on the braking moves there, but it looks relatively clean as we look down towards the back. Very nicely done by the TS2 drivers to get turn one very executed very nicely there. Curry's already moved up from 7th to 5th place already, so nice solid moves there for Curry. Burke has dropped down a position to 7th, Hall down to 7th, Crestdale has made a few positions from 11th down up to 8th place. We did see a glimpse of the Ultimac MSR flying going into turn one, but it made it work to his advantage. Hull's on to P8, but so far it is Green over Trappett, over Lamb, with Sandwich right behind in 4th.
Geez, Green start at the green light there was fantastic. Got out of first gear really well and was able to put the power down to stay ahead of Trappett. So the top four at the moment stay unchanged, but wow, fantastic start there by Green as he charges. Wants to hold on to P1 to try get even closer to an inaugural championship win for himself. It looks like Sandwith's been able to jump Lamb in those last previous two corners. Don't know if we have vision of that, but that's massive for him to grab even more points on Green, who might be threatening him for overall honours here.
Green. That is Green. So Green is off. So we have Green has gone off on the final corner through Panasonic. It's an easy thing to do. Not even the AstroTurf there. Just too eager on the throttle there that lost traction on his Nissan GTR, and the man that we thought could potentially take out victory is down in 14th place, fellas. This is an unbelievable start here. Anything can happen. Looks like something's happened to Thornley's end as well. He's down in 15th place. Must have been caught up on some of the mess down the back end of the track there. There you go. He's well down the order in 15th place. So something drastic happened in car number 90. Not the debut that he wanted, but it is Pat Trappett, as we always see him familiar in the 2023 Formula Truck Stars, is leading the TS2 touring car field in first place, with HBR in Lamb in second place. Took that position off Sandwith, where he lost this position on the previous lap, so he takes back P2. Sandwith holds on to third. Curry, a very impressive drive from him from 7th to 4th place. Hall, another solid drive for him to be up into 5th. Then we have Burke, Crestdale and Aussie Taylor are coming through the field here in 7th and 8th place. We saw these guys 10th and 11th. They're well inside the top 8, and we have Burton in 9th, with Van Buren, who started in 13th, is up into 10th place. So we have some movers and shakers in the opening couple of laps here, but I think the worst place for one of the drivers, unfortunately, goes to Green. He's down 14th place, but only 10.3 seconds behind Pat Trappett, so it's not a big loss for Green, you could say, in the end of it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is a loss, but at the same time, it's not. Oh, Van Buren getting really hot on the loud pedal there. Luckily, to keep it out of the way of the cars coming through, good job there. But that was a massive moment there for Green. The exit there coming through Panasonic. As you said, there looks like he got onto the accelerator a little bit too early. He did try to unsettle the car before it did hit the grass to try and stay on the circuit, but it hit the grass, and that's all she wrote. But 3 positions up for grabs very quickly for Green, as long as he can get past. He's a very smart, very quick racer. I haven't gone up against him yet. I'm worried if I need to, but yeah, wow, what a move there on the inside there.
Oh, just spooked Ed's Nissan GTR there, just facing the wrong direction, almost going towards the right-hand side of the track there, but he managed to hold that violent snap there. Does he go for a send through Coca-Cola corner? He does. Just pulls it up just slowly, so they go side by side through the lazy chicane here at Fuji, and he still stays behind Breeder, but it looks like he's going to put a move in towards the back end of this track here. Still can't get the move done. He's losing time. He's actually, between the last lap and this lap, he's lost 3 seconds to Pat Trappett, who's leading the way very comfortably in first. Gets the move done on Breeder. Breeder's looking for an inside move, just gets the nose chopped off there by Green. So Green takes P12, but unfortunately for him, he's got a long recovery to get anywhere near that top 8. But like you said, there's a lot of cars in front of him, so it's a good opportunity for him just to settle down, get into a rhythm. He's got 10 laps to go, and try and get himself up towards the front, or at least anywhere inside the top 8. As we see a move here from Zerwith. No, doesn't look like there's anything come through. He actually has over here, actually has overtaken Lamb on the previous lap. So Lamb drops down to 3rd. Curry still holds on to 4th. Hole for FR Racing, the Nissan FR Racing in 5th place. And we have Burke, Crestdale and Aussie Taylor rounding up 6th and 7th place with Aussie Taylor himself in 8th place. So a very even start here by all the drivers. They're all just settling into a rhythm here. There's a bit of a gap forming between 7th downwards. So it looks like Burke has actually pulled away from Crestdale. So it looks like it's going to be a battle within the top 6. And I think Trappett has just pulled away that little bit more up in the lead. Car 405 for Pat Trappett is rounding up the Panasonic corner for the completion of his 4th lap. Runs it very wide on the AstroTurf there. Nearly did not get any did not get a snap oversteer moment there. So very lucky for him. Sandworth doing a very impressive job in the Honda NSX. This is the car that really lacks the grunt here on the pit straight, as you know very well, Ryan. With this car on the main straight, you just lose so much time between the cars, and the cars behind you, they can really benefit with the slipstream.
Yeah, that was a very big downfall of the Honda. I love the Honda everywhere else, but anywhere that there was a long straight, I thought that was a big bag of home, because with the main series, we tried to tune it out with downforce and stuff like that, but then we'd lose corner speed. So with like, what way do we go with tuning? But we figured that we can sacrifice some top end speed with some driver placement and stuff like that. But the BOP, it does show with the Honda, take us back to high speed ring for the TS2 when they had their high speed ring enduro there. Sandwith was well down the order. We saw him go around the last corner and then onto the main straight, and he was losing tenths at a time. That Honda was a very big struggle in the straight line, but he's doing very well here, and as long as he can keep Lamb and Curry and Crestdale and Wesson behind him, the other good thing is this is going to take a chunk of points between him and Green when it comes in relation to drop rounds. So that will be a massive critical one there. I was like, drop back to Green, and Green looks like he's made another mistake.
Again.
Yeah, so he's made another mistake there, and Thornley's actually jumped him. So Thornley's on the push back up to the back of the field here, but it's not typical that we see MSR in a Honda. I think he's the first MSR driver to be in a Honda, but maybe Chris has got his PS5 back and he's given him a bit of coaching.
Yeah, something like that, mate. Yeah, I think Thornley is going to really enjoy this experience. Usually a TS3 runner, but he's really going to make the most of this. I think he was hoping for a wet race, and I don't think he was the only one hoping for a wet race, but fantastic to see him here showing his colours here in a Honda TS2 and trying to get the best result that he can, and he'll really take his experience with him moving forward. But I do have to say, with the top 3 runners at the moment, Travis, Sandwich and HBR, in a really good rhythm at the moment, but we have noticed Curry has touched on his struggles with Fuji, but don't count him out. Despite his struggles, very talented driver, and I think as the race comes to him, he'll evolve, adapt, and perhaps jump into the podium places.
And there we have Chris Lashbrook joining us at the Fuji International Speedway bathrooms there, so it's very lovely to hear you from there. But great coverage there, but it's also, like you said, very important for Thornley. He made the jump from TS3 to TS2. He has been absent from the TS3 touring cars, actually withdrew his touring cars entry and have a little bit of a break, just, do his own little thing, do his own kind of racing, race in the background. As soon as he came to Fuji, he was like, yep, sign me up straight away, give me that Honda NSX. So I had to have words with David Williams. He's a very hard negotiator, is the team boss of WRT Motorsports. So not an easy man to negotiate. And like I said, we managed to pitch the Honda NSX from there. That was actually piloted by Nightwalker, so in safe hands there. As I see a massive gaggle of cars here, which involves Mitch Curry going from 2nd to 3rd. So something's happened here. Oh,
see with the speed comparison. Looks like he was recovering from a penalty. So, Sandwith unfortunately got a penalty somewhere, and then he's gone from 2nd to 4th. And Curry has come through through for P2 at the moment. Wow, what a move there for Curry. I think he sent it down the inside at one. So yeah, he's done it.
From fourth to second in one corner, so absolutely beautiful stuff there. And not only has Sandwich lost 4th place, he's now coming under pressure from his teammate in Hall right behind in 5th place. So he's got himself a little bit of company with the American right behind him. But in theory, you could kind of say it's a bit of a Robo Sport racing. Lot of pastrami, a lot of meat-filling sandwich between Curry and Chris Burke in 2nd and 6th place. So it could definitely help Burke. You know, like Burke, we haven't seen for a couple of rounds. He did race in split 2 last time out, so that was the biggest shock in the Trackstars TS2 touring cars last time out at Trail Mountain, Ryan. That he was the only one of the top contenders in this championship. Was split 2. Managed to clean sweep it, as we see Curry serving a penalty next to his name, unfortunately for him, so he picked it up somewhere, unless he actually made a mistake. Oh, no, he didn't serve a penalty, did he? No, he did it on his own, so no penalty. So no penalty to Mitch Curry there, but he did get a crossways. Unfortunately for him, he's from 2nd to P6, not what you want to see from the man that was confidently happy to take P2 in any circumstances, but drops down to P6. Unfortunately, Crestdale not too far behind the man in car 43. But yeah, going back to Burke, wins split 2, dominates split 2, and he's now back into the top split of the Trackstars TS2 touring cars. So it's good to see him back here, and definitely a round to forget, you could say, back at Trail Mountain, not being in that top lobby.
Yeah, I mean, no, I was just going to say I'm still suffering from 3rd degree burns there from Nick just previously, so excuse the shock on my face at the moment there, but yeah, carry on there, Ryan. I've just got a wound to treat here, mate.
No, that's all good. Yeah, that was a massive moment from Curry coming out of Panasonic there. Probably not what he wanted, considering he just got P2. Maybe he was still in shock. Either that or Nick gave him commentator's curse with the Robo Sport Racing sandwich comment. But it's one here for Pat. He's thought, seen the massive mistake that Green did, and he thought, thank you, see you later. Now he's just set the league into a rhythm. Look at him set those 131s, 31.9, 31.7, 31.6, 231.8. Look at that, 31.880 and 31.881. So, Pat's definitely at bay with that Lexus. He is absolutely dominating. He's carrying it from last week too. He come across P2 in the number 11, and he's just carrying it across here too. So, he's got a lot of potential, a lot of skill. I do appreciate racing Pat. He's a very good racer to race against, and I always love racing against him and with him in the long enduros. But yeah, absolutely clinical performance here. Lamb really impressive into P2 at the moment. Sandwich trying to close that gap down. Hall on for a very good position, 4th position here. I wonder if Curry can try and get some positions back, but the person I want to see is where is Green. So Green's back on the back of his pack again. There's 2 cars in front of him, and then there's a slight gap up to the P11. So,
he's still 14th though.
Yeah,
he's not making any moves.
Yeah, he was about 4 seconds back behind his pack of cars though, so he has closed the gap quite a little bit in the last probably 2 or 3 laps. So, but yeah, I think he's just letting these 2 guys fight at the moment, and then he's going to take any position he can get. Wow, this gaggle of cars here, not really where you want to go too wide through that section, but yeah, he's just really needs to kind of settle down, let those tyres cool back down, because they'll probably be very hot Green to on how hard he's pushing. So yeah, take a deep breath and use that Nissan's advantage down the straight and send it into turn 1 on the inside of Vancouver in there, and as long as he gets a good run out of here. So.
Oh, as you say that, unfortunately for Green, the day just goes from bad to worse for this man. It's like someone's thrown a black cat on his car, on his Nissan GTRs. He's got the black cat curse, and unfortunately, there you go, gets the AstroTurf. A very handy demonstration of why to not run onto the AstroTurf. Runs still, to say, it still stays 14th. It'll lose a position to Breeder, who's well down in 15th place, but. Unfortunately, for Green's case, pole position, leads through turn 1, leads through the first few sectors very nicely, just can't get Panasonic to work in his favour, unfortunately. It just goes from bad to worse for the man that is trying to solidify himself as a top contender in the TS2 Touring Cars Championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, massive mistake there from Green. Done it twice so far this race. Maybe he might be able to get the CP boys to try and tune that out for race 2. So fingers crossed on what's going to happen here. But Pat Trappett coming across the line here for lap 10 of 13 here at Mount Fuji. But yeah, I think solid performance there. But Curry may come under pressure here from Prestdale after burning this penalty. So this may give Prestdale a couple of extra points, which was what he wants. So, you know, probably doesn't close up as much, but yeah, Prestdale kind of really needs to go, you know, hammer time and get the moves done. But Aussie Taylor into P8 must have some cold tyres and he's just going to be back up again. Purden in P9 up into, you know, we haven't seen much of Purden lately. You know, he had a very good performance at High Speed Ring. I'm definitely happy to see that if he can try and keep that momentum going there from High Speed Ring. He has been in contact with me a little bit saying, you know, where can I go wrong? And I'm like, mate, I haven't turned a lap at Fuji and I don't plan to, so you're on your own on this one. But, you know, unfortunately, I didn't get time during the week to help him, but yeah, he's definitely getting to terms with the Lexus. But, you know, if he can get up a little bit further, then it'll be good. I know he'll be pretty happy. So, unfortunately, we don't have his mate in Hedges this week in main split, so yeah.
Yeah, so I was about to mention up what's going on in Split 2. So we have 5 drivers in Trackstar's TS2 Touring Car. Split 2 is being led by Silvestro Severi from CP Motorsports, only 1.7 clear of Hedges. So Burton's best mate in Hedges is running P2, closing up on Severi with only 2 laps to go. Then we have Tristan Mason in 3rd place, not too far behind, 3.7. And then we have Scuddy from WRT Motorsports rounding up the top 4, unfortunately, with Calypso retiring and DNFing from this event. Unfortunately, something happened on his end. So 4 drivers now to conclude race 1 in Trackstar Split 2 for TS2 Touring Cars round 11. And as we are still going on with this lead pack here, Pat Trappett still leads the way. Lamb still holds on to 2. Sandwith not too far behind in 3rd place, and Green again just going from bad to worse, picks up a half-second penalty next to his name. Does gain a position on boarding there, so a couple of points he's going to try and chip away. It's all about chipping away with those points, Ryan, and any points you can get is very important towards the end of this championship, because Sandwith holding on very nicely to P3, just closing that gap a little bit to HBR. But my goodness, the talent that HBR has got, and he's still running in the very dark red Lexus RCF. Anytime you see a dark red, yeah, anywhere you see a dark red Lexus, you see that and you think, wow, you know, watch out, this guy is on the move, and this guy is just a thorn to anyone's progression in this championship. So, and nothing against him. He's done so well. So no team signed him up, wanted to run as a privateer, and doing well, currently comfortably in P2. And you can kind of say in a way the 2 privateers, 1st and 2nd place, with the 1st of the team's backing in Sandwith in 3rd place alongside with his teammate Matt Hall. But we're on the final lap now as these guys are starting to cross the start-finish line for the last time on lap. About to start lap 13 of 13. Trappett 9.3 clear of his fellow Lexus driver and HBR in 2nd. Sandwith coming under pressure from his teammate in Hall, but I don't think Hall's going to fight this. He knows he needs to help Sandwith try and get some points in this championship and get some extra points over his competitors. Burke in 5th. Curry still holds on very nicely to 6th place. Crestdale, after starting outside the top 10, is in 11th place, so that's a solid recovery drive from the man in car 23. Aussie Taylor, very quiet in this race, but still holds on to P8. So again, sitting P2 in this championship, going to really try to start thinking about putting some moves in race 2 and try and get himself back up towards the pointy end here. Then we have Jack Thornley in 9th place. He was well down the order here, if you recall, Ryan. 15th in last place and so many seconds behind the leader. I believe he was 20 seconds behind Trappett at one point. He's only down to 29. So he's lost time, but he's gained it back through positions, and he's up into P9 with Person rounding up the top 10.
Yeah, Thornley's doing a really good job here on his way back through the field. You know, feature race for him, feature race for Pat, and we have Liam up into P2. But a nearly missed Pat coming across the line there, but here we have, ladies and gentlemen, Pat Trapper taking the first win here at Fuji for the privateer, and I think he's running under OCD, so I think that's our iRacing team. So good work there. And then Lamb coming through for P2, and yeah, as you said, they're all just pushing Sandwith to the to third place there. Most amount of points he can get there through that one there. Curry coming across the line in P6, just behind his teammate in Burke. Crestdale P7, very good recovery drive there from him. Aussie Taylor P8, Thornley coming across in P9. Purden P10, looks like he made a mistake on one of the laps there. Van Vuren P11, Greeny P12, just getting Gordock at the line there. Gordock P13, Tenwell P14, and then Breeder, probably a race that he really wants to forget there for Ed down in P15. But yeah, that's all she wrote there, ladies and gentlemen, for race 1 here at TS2 with Pat Trappett taking line honours there. He will have pole position for race 2. So yeah, wow, what a race there. There was a lot happening there in that one.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately for Chris, he's actually missed it. He's still stuck in the bathroom at Fuji.
Yeah.
But he's done. But it's some great racing along here. Unfortunately we couldn't see any progression from Green. He finishes well down outside the top 10, and very unfortunate for him after getting it all right in qualifying, getting that final corner right in qualifying, and then it comes to the race coming towards the end of lap 1, just spins it round. And very unfortunate for him to be finishing outside the top 10. So he's got a lot of work to do in race 2 if he wants to have any progression in this championship fight between himself, Sandwith, as well as the likes of Aussie Taylor, HBR, and Crestdale in that top 5 of this championship. So there's our order. There's our race results there. Pat with the win. Then we also have HBR and Sandwith rounding out the podium. So some standout drives here, Ryan. And I will say it's a couple of standouts there. Definitely Burke was one of the standouts, getting himself inside the top 5. Lamb, an impressive P2. Probably an unexpected P2 for Lamb. Sandwith could have been a little bit disappointed with his efforts there. He was ahead of Lamb for a few laps before he lost it to the man in the Lexus. So a couple of standout drives there, and but I think the man that has got the momentum is Trappett in that 405.
Yeah, he's had good luck so far with that 405 since he left PLE. So, he's doing a good job. But yeah, he's done solid there for Pat. But he's coming in as the 2023 Formula Track Stars champion. So, if he was anywhere below the top 5, I'd be very surprised. Especially here. But he does like Fuji as far as I'm aware. But yeah, well, what a race there. I definitely didn't expect Green to be so far down, but one little mistake can make your day go from good to bad. But yeah, that's very interesting, and I'll be waiting to see on what he can do off the race start and stuff like that when the field's very compact. So yeah, it's interesting on how that's going to come out to play. But yeah, I know that Chris did try and come back, but it looks like the audio and visual guys have decided to just shut his mic off. I don't know why, but fortunately we did lose Chris, so hopefully we can try and get him back for either the race 2 or next round. But yeah, wow, what a race.
Absolutely, what a great race here. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to get race 2 of this Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Split 1 underway very shortly. Can Pat Trappett go 2 for 2? Can he get a clean sweep just like his good mate and Jeff Brun did earlier in the TS3 Touring Cars Championship? Or will we see a new name take it to the man in car 405? We'll find out very soon as we get the coverage for race 2 up and running very shortly.
Gentlemen, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We did have a bit of a disconnection problem, and we had someone lag out and struggling to get back in the lobby. But in the meantime, I think we do with the huge.
The hot lap here, presented by Ryan Palmer. Here we go. Let's see what we've got. He's running in his 2022 Honda NSX, so hopefully you might be inspired by Les's performances in the other Honda NSX that was actually piloted by John Shepherd and Brandosa. It was actually some very good running in 2022, but you're back in all its glory as you take us around through a hot lap here at Fuji International Speedway, through Coca-Cola Corner. Very, very tricky, very fast flowing corner. You've got to get the braking point right and just cut it perfectly. Just don't hit that bollard, otherwise you will be picking up that half-second penalty. Round through 100R and then into the heavy braking zone at turn 5. So, doing a really good job here so far, ladies and gentlemen. So let us know what you think of Ryan's hot lap once he completes it. So the exit of the hairpin through turn 7, 8 and 9, 300R through to Dunlop Corner. Very, very tricky zone. What we saw last year was we took the shortcut, we took the shorter version before the chicane was introduced in the early 2000s. So now we've got that chicane here for the Trackstars TS2 touring cars. They're coming through towards the sector 3 turns 13, 14. The Nets corner 15, and then as we see up towards the peak hills there of Mount Fuji, you can see in all of its glory. Unfortunately blocked off by the hotel there. It's actually in the real world, ladies and gentlemen. So just kind of like Bathurst has the Regis Hotel on the going out of the exit of the chase into Murray's Corner. Fuji's got the same thing through Panasonic Corner, and then down this long stretch, this long pit straights. It's absolutely incredible. So you can definitely feel it in the Honda there. Just wax that top end, Ryan, as he approached turn 1 to Daiichi turn 1. How much does that straight really hurt the Hondas in the real world?
In the real world, I'm not too sure, but in this car, it definitely lacks a bit of top end there. But yeah, you don't want to go too tight there on this left-hander, otherwise you get the floppy and then you get a half-second penalty here. But this section of corners here is, you want to get it really well done through there. Miss the middle section of the corner, put it through the double apex there, and Pat saying apex is useful because I missed it. Thank you, mate. And then you can go really deep on the brakes here on the Honda. So yeah, it's definitely one thing you can do with the Honda is you can go very deep under brakes, and it's very good on corner entry. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm not a fan of this last sector. This last sector always kills me because I can never get it right, and you can see I'm missing apexes.
So as it comes around through Panasonic for the last time there. So let us know in the comments, just give us your rating out of 10 how that hot lap was for Ryan Palmer as he jumps back in the old 2022 It's Racing Esports Honda NSX at around Fuji International Speedway. So we're just waiting on one driver in. Doc is struggling a little bit just to get into the lobby, so hopefully we'll be able to get him into his car ready to start race 2. But as we say that, Ryan, you know, it's been a great race 1. We saw a lot of different changes amongst the field here, amongst where drivers were sitting relative to what we've seen them in the championship. We always see Green up towards the pointy end, but struggling to get through cleanly through Panasonic Corner at the end of lap 1. We're even seeing Curry as well, struggling, not having the best time here around Fuji. You know, and we've got guys like Sandwith and HBR who are really maximising this and taking it to their full advantage, finishing 2nd and 3rd place respectively.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely interesting to see, you know, drivers that are, you know, going well or not going well, making a couple of mistakes, and the mistakes are making are pretty critical ones. You know, you don't want to be making many mistakes. You know, every driver makes mistakes. You know, myself, yourself, you know, it happens, it's racing. But yeah, you know, Green made a critical mistake, same as Curry. Curry was up into P2, made a big mistake, dropped down to P6, so that was interesting. But yeah, look, thanks boys, 4 out of 10, I'll take that, considering I haven't done a lap in that car for what would be a probably Oh, when was the last time I used that? 2022. Probably looking, 10, 11 months. So yeah, that car's been perched up on the in the It's Racing garage for a while in a transporter. So, but yeah, it's an interesting track combo, I think. Me personally, I'd still rather the no chicane, but yeah, we thought we'd spice it up this year. But yeah, solid work from all the drivers there. But looks like we're just waiting on Gordock. So if we can't, we just may have to do either a host or a lobby reset again. But yeah, what are you expecting for race two? Now that the field's compact, it's gonna probably be a bit interesting having the drivers come through from the back.
Yeah, so I'll be definitely keeping my eyes on Green for sure. If he could do exactly what Crestdale did in the opening lap on the opening corner, goes from 11th to 8th place at the end of that first corner, not making contact with anyone. If he could do something like that from 12th and get himself up at least within that top 10 at the end of the first lap, that'll be very, very important for him to be able to get himself into prime position to overtake cars and try and get himself back into that top 5. But I think as well we have to look at our Pat Trappett. The man, he stepped out, he retired from the Trackstars Touring Cars Championship, comes back with a vengeance next to his name to get himself onto the podium at Grand Valley, and he did that successfully, scoring P2. Now drops back down to TS2, just have a bit of fun with his mates, and takes out victory in race 1. Could potentially go for race 2, but I won't be counting HBR, Sandwith out of it whatsoever. These guys were in the thick of the battle, but now they've got some clear air, and HBR is very experienced with these TS2 Lexus. I'll be watching him very closely to put a challenge to Trappett within the opening few laps, because if you can challenge Trappett in those first couple of laps, you'll be set and primed for the rest of the stint. But once you lose ground, once you go over that second, is you can just kiss that victory goodbye, and it'll be Pat Trappett's victory for the taking.
Yeah, definitely. You give Pat some clean air, and he's just going to take it and run. He's like a little kid. He's like a little kid with candy. The kid sees candy, and he's like, oh, he starts running. So, Pat's the same with clean air. Does the clean air, and as soon as he gets into it, he's going to take it and run. So, it's not something you want to let Pat do. It's the old thing that we say with Matt in the Porsche Cup. Don't let Matt to the front. As soon as Matt gets to the front, he's gone, which, happens. And it happened here with Pat. He nearly scored out 10 seconds to P2 in that first race in a 13-lap race. So, anything's possible here for race 2. As long as they keep it on the track, I think it's going to be a solid one. But it looks like we're having a bit of connection issues here at the moment with Gordock trying to get in the room. So we're just, in the meantime, who are you expecting to, possibly be, say, like an underdog or something like that for race 2?
Oh, it is an interesting one to who I put as an underdog. Look, the man's led the championship, but he's had a few quiet rounds, and a track like this can really suit the Honda NSX. So I'll be looking at Sandwith especially. So he's not an underdog by any stretch of form, but his last few rounds haven't really been where we saw him earlier in this championship. So I'll be looking for him to make progress and really take advantage of the Honda NSX. But another man that I will keep an eye on is Burke in 5th place. The guy goes from split 2, takes the clean sweep in split 2, automatically qualifies to get into this lobby. If he can string up some good corners and get those first couple of laps under his belt and really settle into a rhythm and just wait for drivers to make mistakes, I can definitely predict him getting himself onto the podium at the end of race 2. So watch for car 486 to be flying through and really trying to set himself up for getting back into this championship fight. He was sitting P5 in this championship for quite a long time as well. We'll have to remind our viewers. Throughout the whole championship standings, it was the usual suspects that we see up front. We had Crestdale, we had Sandwith, we had HBR, Aussie Taylor, and then we also had Burke. But Burke, unfortunately, has been the biggest loser out of all of them in this championship fight. That was actually now being overtaken by Green from CP Motorsport. So Burke has fallen out of the top 5, and he needs to try to get some points back. He needs to have those drop rounds benefit him. And a start here at Fuji in race 2 can definitely give him some confidence with 2 rounds to go.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we actually have Gordok still sitting in the top 5 here at in TS2 with Kentwell not too far behind. So yeah, Lamb missed one round and DNF'd one race. I think that was Bathurst. So yeah, he's dropped down all the way to 9th. So Lamb was sitting in that top 4, top 4, top 5 there for quite a while for majority of that, and then he's dropped down. So yeah, he's really going to need those drop rounds to come into play and kind of work to his benefit there. So we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, unfortunately, if Gordok can't connect this time, we will have to go and we'll give him last place points just for that one. We won't give him DNS points. I'll give him last place. So yeah, we will do that one. But we do need to get it underway shortly because it is 9 p.m. here in New South Wales, and I do think we have some Kiwi drivers. So it's approaching 11 o'clock over there. I think it is.
Yeah, definitely 11 o'clock for these guys, and obviously most people have to work in the morning, and so yeah, unfortunately for them, they've got a little bit of an extended night here. But as we get ourselves trying to get ready for the split 1 of TS2, let's cross over to the secondary camera, the off-screen camera of split 2 racing. We have 4 laps to go, about 3 laps to go now. We have an interesting battle pack between Hedges leading the way. He got the jump over Severi into turn 1. Severi dropped down to 3rd place, but then quickly gathered 2nd place back at the exit of turn 1 going into turn 2. So Hedges leads the way going on to lap 11 or 13. Severi holds on to P2. If things stand, Severi will win the round on countback, and with his pole position that he got at the start of race 1. So, and Mason right behind there. Tristan Mason for Kiwi pit lane is only a few tenths behind Severi. So if Severi loses that position to Mason, we could be seeing Hedges making a return to top split in round 12 at Suzuka for the Honshu Sprint. So, and it's very, very close between the top 3. Literally, the top 3 is separated by 1.6 seconds with 3 laps to go, Ryan. So, and unfortunately for Scutty, down in 4th place, 12.6. He had a lot of mistakes in that race there, so a race to forget. But this top 3 for split 2, we always say split 2 in Division 2, any forms of Division 2 racing that you can get, is always throws an exciting race in, and I am seeing an exciting one here between Hedges, Severi, and Mason, and this could definitely give one of the 2 drivers, Hedges or Severi, that top split eligibility into round 12. Could it be Hedges? Could it be Severi? We'll find out in 2.5 laps time. But Mason is closing up on the CP driver, so we'll keep an eye on that once the race concludes. Hopefully it might be done as we get this race underway. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we might be getting Doc into this lobby, unfortunately, so he's not really able to connect there. So hopefully the grid has been set. Or as I say that, as I look into the off-screen cameras, Mason did make a huge mistake through Panasonic corner, and I can see Green right now going through Panasonic corner. He's looking at that corner and thinking, I do not want to make that mistake ever again, and I do not want to have my car facing the wrong way. So unfortunately for Mason, his car faced the wrong way. He's 3.7 behind Severi, so it's all up to Severi and Hedges for the win in split 2 and race 2.
Yeah, that's very interesting there. And as you say, we do have Tristan Mason. He is in a Honda, so maybe it's a Honda working on coming back through the field. But we've just had confirmation here that Gordok can't connect, and we'll give him last place points. Just because it's probably a GT7 thing, so there's no use penalising him for that. But here we have it, ladies and gentlemen, ready for race 2 here at TS2 Touring Cars for Fuji in the first round of 3 for the Japanese leg here at TS2.
So can Pat Trappett go 2 for 2, or will the parties be spoiled by Lamb or Sandwith? Even Hall right behind as we get those lights underway. We are green flag racing. A nice jump again, once again for Pat Trappett. Takes it a few car lengths ahead of HPR as we watch for that congestion going to turn 2. Couple of cent moves down there towards some of the drivers there. Curry is involved in one of them. He's gone spinning around, facing the wrong direction. That's 14th and last place of Mitch Curry. As we look towards the replay, quick replay by our broadcaster. What happened to him? He's trying to fit through between Crestdale and Hall there. Took it very conservative. Hudson looks like he got into the back end of it.
I think he was evading a car on the inside and managed to get Curry in the meantime. So that was definitely a big cluster of something happening there. But yeah, wow.
And unfortunately, we can see Breeder there's got caught up in an incident as well there, so he's facing the wrong direction as well. So Breeder and Curry have really, unfortunately, done themselves not the start that they wanted. I can also see Burton down there as well after he was starting in P10. But look at this congestion of cars; it's absolutely incredible. I think what Burton was actually doing, he must have.
Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah. So if he's down the order there. Breeder's still fuming underneath the helmet there, but look at the gap that Pat's got already. 3 seconds after all that congestion into turn 1. Pat has put 3 seconds over the sand with HBR, drops a position to P3. Burke has gained a position over Hall into 4th place, and then we have Green from out of nowhere from 12th to 6th place. I did call it, Ryan, that he needed to start making some moves, and I think the moves and the congestion that was caused on lap 1 has benefited him so much. He's about to make a move on Hall right now, going into turn 1. We can see as well, Burke has gone for a move on HBR, and he's done it very nicely there. So well done to HBR, well done to Burke rather. He's up into P3. HBR has to slot back into 4th. Green, the man on the charge, in 5th place.
Yeah, Green's made a massive charge there. We have had 2 disconnects there from Curry and Burke. It's all happening there. Sorry, that was Breeder. It's all happening there is, I think it was Burke getting a half-second penalty, so he may lose a couple of positions there, and someone drops down to the back towards Bird and backwards. Yeah, wow, what a start there from TS2's Green's making a move here on the inside of Lamb into the hairpin, and he makes the move stick around the outside, and Thornley right in the back of all this mix. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars in this such tight section here. You know, hopefully nothing goes wrong. But yeah, wow, what an absolute cluster. Lamb's all the way down in P6 after starting P2. But yeah, wow, what an absolute. Thornley in the back of Lamb there.
A little bit of congestion there for the Brits in the car. Number 90 is Thornley. He's in 8th place. He's about to lose the position to Crestdale in 9th as they're running side by side. The Lexus will definitely outmuscle the Honda NSX, but the Honda's going to have some very superior brakes here. As we see the battle for 3rd place, Green is on the charge. He's not stopping. He wants to get on that podium, and he's done that very successfully. Clean move on Chris Burke up into P3 after starting position 12, but it's not over. Burke has got the inside line. What happens here? Green just outbrakes the Nissan GTR.
Oh, he may
did hit the bollard
yes,
there, and he did.
Was.
Yep, both of them. Both drivers have hit the bollard through Coca-Cola corner. They've both picked up a half-second penalty, so this can benefit Hall and Lamb right behind there. The battle for P3 is on. We can see Aussie Taylor in the background score flying into the background there. We can see he's well down the order in 10th place, or 9th place. We can see there all over the place as our cameraman really tries to find where Aussie Taylor is. There he is in 8th place. Oh, big mistake there. It goes from Aussie Taylor. What has happened here? As we look towards the replay with car 420, something drastic happened in car 420 as he goes for the inside move there. Did something happen? Oh, he got tagged.
Got tagged from the back.
Oh, he just got tagged by, I believe, one of the Kiwi pit lane drivers.
KPL drivers, but it looks like Aussie was caught up with Thornley in going through 100R, so something may happen there. A couple of incident-filled race this one here is, but Green has dropped down to P4 with that half-second penalty. Burke to P6, Hall to P3, and Lamb to P5. Wow, what an incident-filled race. This is crazy. Now Green really wants that 3rd position back. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake again, because he really needs to charge to Sandwich if he wants to get any kind of points there.
Yeah, so Lamb holds on to 5th place. Burke has dropped down to 6th. So those half-second penalties have been a killer for both Green and Burke, dropping down 4th to 6th place. Thornley, who looks like he's been in the thick of the wars here, not making too many friends here in this second race here, but he still holds on to P7 with Kentwell rounding up the top 8. But the battle pack we can't keep our eye off is this one for 3rd place. Hall leads them cleanly, holds them up into 3rd place very nicely. Green in 4th after starting 12th. HBR from second down to 5th place, and Burke was making the moves early on, was just unfortunately dropped down to P6 here, so he just needs to regather himself, wait for these guys to battle each other out, because we see some drivers here, unfortunately, not where we usually see them, especially with Hall in 3rd place, but he's eking out a gap over Green here, and HBR is giving him a lot of pressure to get that Nissan moving, because he wants to take the challenge to Hall if Green can't do it, but he's right underneath that slipstream. Let's ride on board with the 82 Lexus RCF as he goes right into that rearview mirror here. There he goes, he pulls to the right hand side. They're going to go side by side. The Lexus got a little bit more straight line speed over the Nissan GTR, but it looks like they're very line of stone here. The side draft working wonders for Green there, as we see a disconnect, unfortunately, for Ozzy Taylor. As we can see there, Hall's gone going down the order for some reason there, so he did have the hazard lights on there for some interesting reason. Yeah, so he must have been stuck on the pause menu there for Hall, so something happened there for Hall there, so lots of chaos here in this race here, Ryan. I can't keep up what's going on. We see Ozzy Taylor disconnects from the lobby, so we only have 11 drivers now in race 2. Unfortunately, he got caught up with a couple of incidents there with some of the drivers, and unfortunately that has been too much damage on the car 420, and they've had to retire that car, so he's out of the race. HBR up to 3rd. Hall still holds on to 4th place after a bit of a weird turn 1 entry for Hall, with Green down to 5th and Burke in 6th, so a lot of action here, Ryan. I can't keep up with it.
Try being the person operating the cameras. I can't keep up with what button I'm pushing because there's so much going on. I'm just like, I'm just trying to mash a whole bunch of buttons at once. Nothing's keeping up, and the screen's going left and right. But yeah, wow, what a action-packed race 2 here at Fuji. Yeah, well, as you said, 11 cars there. But Pat out to 6.5 second gap over Sandwich there in P2. Sandwich comfortable 4.2 seconds back to HBR, but my oh my, what a race there for these 4 drivers here. Green jumps out into the braking zone on the inside there of clinical pass there. Absolutely fantastic. Good work there by Green. Love seeing this guy race. He's absolutely fun. And even Hall there giving him space. Burke behind too, you know, seeing these guys racing in such close proximity. Absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Some top quality driving there. He's trying to go around the outside, did Burke. They nearly made it work around the outside of Hall there, so he's tucks back into 6th place. So he's going to hold on very nice at P6. Right behind there is closing up pretty quickly is Thornley. Unfortunately for him, it looks like he's made a few enemies in race 2 here, so he might be under investigation by a couple of the stewards within the opening lap. So we'll wait and see what happens at the end of it. But for him, he could be potentially fighting for P5. And as we always say, Ryan, P5 is that magic number that everyone is trying to vie for, and that is automatic entry into the main series of track stars, touring cars, all the Formula track stars. So if he can get himself inside the top 5, barring any penalties next to his name, that'll be a very solid drive for the man making his debut in TS2.
Yeah, well, he's down here in 7th at the moment, still 2.5 behind P6, but yeah, wow, what I'm still shocked at the first couple of laps of this race, but wow, these 4 drivers here in between P3 to P6, they're separated by, you know, onwards of 2 and a bit seconds, so yeah, wow, that's crazy at the moment. But Pat, absolute clinic at the moment here, 7.3 seconds score and a 10th faster through sector 1, so we'll wait and see if we can better that lap there of that 31.7. Sandwich P2 still running his own race at the moment, not under pressure from anyone, but yeah, this is a big good points for Sandwich. He may
Absolutely.
Depending on the
he'll absolutely be fuming at that. I don't know. I don't think he'll be fuming behind the helmet there, but he's thinking, oh, you know, he sees Pat Trafford's name. He saw him race in the main series last year. He's thinking, what are you doing in my league, son? You know, this would have been my chance to take a victory here this evening at Fuji. So Pat has to ruin it all. So if you want to let Pat know there's ruined a race for someone, just let him know in the comments. Let him know in his DMs and on the Discord. So, but nah, very respectable drives by both of them, 1st and 2nd place. HBR looks like he's just started to come under a little bit of under fire here from Green, who has gone past Burke, and Burke has gone for a half spin. and he's looped it around the corner through turns 15 through 14. As we see the replay, was that too much gas, or was he on the curbing there? Let's see what happens.
I think, to be honest.
Yeah, he definitely did there. So unfortunately for him. So he drops down to P7, promotes Thornley up into position 6 now. So he's up into P6. He's not far behind of Hall from FR Racing. So the crucial P5 that could give him main series eligibility, barring any penalties next to his name. We'll find out once the steward reports has been lodged and finalised before we get to the Hot Shoe Sprint. A couple of mentions behind as well. We see Kentwell rounding up in 8th place ahead of Crestdale in 9th. So definitely a race for Crestdale and Aussie Taylor to forget, and both drivers losing valuable points in this championship fight to both Sandwith, Lamb and Green.
Yeah, definitely. That's quite a massive one there for Aussie with the championship points. You know, he's coming in here, he's sitting P2, not only, you know, less than 100 points behind Sandwith, so that's a massive one there. For him, so you know Green will take that from him this week, and as well potentially Crestdale, just based on how the standards go. And that's a disconnect there from Thornley. Wow, he's disconnected there from P6. So yeah, wow, that's a.
Oh no! So what was all looking so good for Thornley after a very emphatic race 1? He actually said in the post-race debrief he was actually in the bathroom, as they in the Fuji bathrooms, probably hanging out with Lashbrook there at the same time. But unfortunately, just didn't get the car into the car on time. He came back from, I believe, it was 8 seconds from last place, and got himself up inside the top 10. And unfortunately, with the disconnect next to his name, that's very unfortunate. I just get reports here, his controller died, Ryan. His DS4 controller has died from it. He's actually given him some bad luck, so very unfortunate for the man making his debut in TS2 to have a hardware failure next to his name, and definitely not what he wanted afterwards. Looking so promising for the young kid from Britain.
Oh, yeah, that was a. He was on for a P6 there in this race, obviously pending review, but yeah, wow, he was on the charge there. But speaking of on the charge, Green got past Lamb on the run to turn 1, you know, used that draft, used the side draft to his advantage, and now he's gapped out to nearly a second, and he's on the charge to Sandwith. 3.8 seconds is the question looming over Green. Can he get to the back of Sandwith? But then the other question is, can he pass him? They are on, you know, even lap times roughly. They're low to mid 32s each. So, you know, the old thing is, you know, it's easy to catch someone, but passing them is another story. So,
absolutely,
that's the question there. But as long as Green can stick it out, I'm sure that he'd be wanting just to try and manage and get some points back in race 2 as much as he can. So, that's going to be the valuable thing for him here for race 2 of Fuji. He sets a PB with a 32.2. As Sandwith sets a 32.8, so 6 tenths faster than Sandwith on that Green was. So that's the question, can he claw that back? You know, 6 tenths, 4 laps. I don't think that will be possible unless Green sets a record pace. So yeah, well, I'm going to have to wait and see on that one. But Paul sitting quite comfy on P5 at the moment with Burke P6. I think that'll give... Oh no, HBR will be the one with the best performance outside the top 5, so yeah, he'll get automatic entry there, but unfortunately Burke won't at the moment, but we'll just wait and see. So yeah, wow, it's definitely a bit interesting. You know, this series this year has probably been the best, I think, that we've had so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting race here for race 2. A little bit of a delayed start, but it was worth the wait. A lot of carnage, a lot of drama amongst all the drivers. We had 4 disconnects, unfortunately, from this race, and an unfortunate DNS from Doc from WRT. So we're left with 10 drivers here to conclude race 2 for round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Cars, led by Pat Trapp and Sandwith, holding on to second place, but the gap is closing between himself and Green, only by a few tenths here, Ryan. So there's not much gain from Green. I think he only gains about 4 tenths on this lap. People will wait to see what he's got. 32.6 plays a 32.1, and it's a personal best there, so 5 tenths. It's not going to be enough, unfortunately, unless Sandwith makes a really big mistake. But look who's closing up behind as well. Lamb, he's not out of this whatsoever. And he just closed the gap there. Sets his personal best on the previous lap. So it's game on here for P3. I don't think Green's going to look towards Sandwith now, because now he has to deal with the privateer and that red Lexus in his rear view mirrors, because the gap is closing, and it's closing very fast.
Yeah, he did set a 31.8 there, which is, it's exactly 1/10 slower than Pat's fastest lap with a 31.713. He set a 31.813, so yeah, that's definitely a very fast lap there from Lamb, but he has lost about 2/10 to Green in that mid-sector there. Pat with 11.7 second gap, he's just out here, he isn't getting any time, because, you know, mate, you're out battling yourself. You know, what are we going to come to? You know, it's a real wonky yellow you got going on there, though. But yeah, that's down to 2.9 seconds between Sandwith and Green. So it's hovering around that 3 second, 3.2, 2.9 mark. So he has taken time out of Sandwith. But yeah, as you said, Green, kind of, as much as he needs to push, he really needs to be cautious of Lamb coming through. So yeah, the field's kind of spread out at the moment. But Cresto here into P7. Started P7 as well, so he hasn't really made any positions. So
yeah,
after his 2021-2022 campaign, 2023 he's really kind of been a bit consistent, you know, mid to front of the pack. You know, we saw him win quite a lot through 2021-2022 in TS2.
Absolutely.
F2. So you know, and then he had some family things happen, and he didn't race TS2 for a while. Burden in P9 with his good friend in Van from the KBL boys back not too far behind P10, 4 tenths behind. Oh, Van Vuren laid on the brakes there in that number.
Yeah, and as we saw there, the reason why Person is down there, he did redress. He was waiting for Curry to come back round, so he actually did the right thing. Did Person? He actually waited on the opening lap when I think he was up into position 8 or 6 in lap 1 when Curry was taken out. So he dropped from 6th place all the way down to last place. So that just shows some sportsmanship there from Ben Burton in car 91 there, sacrificing his track position. Probably knew that he was in the wrong there, and he did the right thing and just sacrificed his race to give that position back to Curry. So he's done a very good job there. Holds on to P9 after all the disconnects and unfortunate DNS from all our drivers and the DNS from Gordop. So P9 is a bit of a consolidating his position there, but he is coming under pressure from Van Buren in 10th place, a Kiwi pit lane driver. The boss of Kiwi pit lane in 10th place. He's doing a real good job there. But we are on the final lap here, ladies and gentlemen. It is the order hasn't changed whatsoever between the top 3. I will want to keep my eye on what Green is like between himself and HBR. So he's actually got a gap over HBR now. So there's a good gap over the man in car 82. But the gap did close a fair bit between Sandwith and Green on that last lap. It's about 2.4 seconds now between Sandwith and Green, but unfortunately it's a little bit too late for Green to get himself into position place. But it's been an absolutely phenomenal race here by the top drivers. So it shows some very class driving amongst the top 6 there, all trading personal best lap times, really closing up the gaps, really extending them, pushing, and then resting the tyres and pushing again. Just some classy driving here right in this TS2 field. It just amazes me what talent we have here in Trackstars TS2. But for the last time here through Panasonic Corner, around Fuji International Speedway here at the foothills of Mount Fuji, it is Pat Trabbit with car 405 again taking the victory here, clean sweep, just like Jeff Brun did in TS3. Pat Trabbit does it in TS2, takes the clean sweep and takes the victory for race 2 in round 11 for the Trackstars TS2. Sandwith, a very, very great round for the man in car 15, the championship leader, getting probably one of his better rounds from the past few rounds. Probably one of his best performances, I would say, since early on in the TS2 championship. So very solid performance there by Sandwith. Green holds on to P3, gets that podium after starting position 12. So the hard charger goes to Green. What a recovery drive from the man in car 232.
Yeah, that was a solid performance there from Green to get back up into P3 there, taking the last step on the podium there. Unfortunately, won't get the podium honours there. That will go to Lamb. So we'll see Pat, Trappett, Sandwith, and then Lamb. So yeah, that's going to be a interesting out. Yeah, it's race 2 had a lot going on. Only 2
Oh,
cars
yes.
in the 31s there. So Lamb and 3 cars. So we had Hall, Lamb and Pat in the 31s. So yeah, wow, all the other cars were in the 32s and 33s. But yeah, 4 DNFs there and a DNS from Gordok. But due to it being obviously a GT7 problem, I did say I will give him last place points. So unfortunately for those guys there with the DNFs, they will get a 50 point DNF for that one. But yeah, wow, what a race. Crazy.
What a race, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of action here at Fuji. Fuji always delivers some great racing here. Unfortunately, we don't have our resident Mr. Fuji on the track here, but I'm pretty sure Pat Trappett and Jeff Bruin have actually maybe potentially have taken that title off him and Xavier Hosking. So another of the Mr. Fuji gifts coming their way on the Trackstars Discord. So if you've liked what you've seen, ladies and gentlemen, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the Trackstars Racing Series YouTube channel. That is round 11 done and dusted, Ryan. So what an eventful evening here on the Sunday the 5th of November in 2023. We've only got 2 rounds to go here. Next time we see these guys will be at Suzuka in 1 week's time for the Honshu Sprint, the last round before we start applying drop rounds, and it's going to be absolutely spicy, and we cannot wait to reveal the results and the championship order in 2 weeks' time once these guys have finished the Honshu Sprint.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a bit interesting there, but that is it. That is us, ladies and gentlemen, for here at round 11 for Trackstars TS2. But my driver of the day, I've got to give it to Greeny. He had a massive moment in race 1, but he lost it for race 1, but then he brought it back for race 2. You know, doing that drive from essentially from the back to the front. So yeah, definitely the Greeny for me for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. A worthy shout there for Green. He's definitely my driver of the day, driver of the race. I think driver for the round, I will have to give it to Sandwith there. Finishes P3 and keeps the car clean into P2. Definitely his best performance in Trackstars TS2 touring cars and really trying to extend that gap in this championship and really have any hope of getting a title, bringing a title to FR Racing. He started as a privateer. FR Racing and Ridwan signed him up for the rest of the Trackstars TS2 touring cars, and he's doing absolute wonders to get that car up towards the pecking order and try to get that trophy for FR Racing. Could it be their first trophy, or will CP Motorsports add another trophy to their huge trophy cabinet? We'll see in a month's time. But that is us. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Apologies for the delay in race 2, but we hope we've brought the action back to you with some awesome racing amongst our competitors. Congratulations to Pat Trappett for winning the double at Fuji International Speedway. But that is us. On behalf of myself, Nick Patasso, and Ryan Palmer, thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys next week for the Honshu Sprint.